So today I did a couple of different things this morning. It's been a little bit of a busy morning, been an active morning, and really kind of a busy week overall. I've got lots of different little things to do, but I caught up with an old contact at IBM. I have some contacts in their AI efforts or Watson efforts or department. I don't know how you want to look at that. But it was good to. It's always good to hear from old friends, catch up with them. And she actually shared with me that she had a baby recently, so I thought that was really cool. I was really happy for her and her husband and the new baby. So sending them good wishes. Hope that they're doing well. They live in the greater New York area, so hope that they're doing well out there in New York. And it's always such a special thing to welcome a new baby into the world. So we're really happy for her and her new family. All right, guys. So go ahead and start filling up my notes, my chat. And again, we do ask people to introduce themselves with city, state, province, country, and then I'm happy to take your questions. So for today's opening note, I actually wanted to talk to you about October 1st. And October 1st, obviously, is the start of a new month. Halloween's coming up for most cultures around the world. But from a business perspective, it's also the start of Q4. It's the start of the fourth quarter or the start of the last quarter of the year, right? Typically, I think it holds for most business cultures around the world, but certainly in most Western cultures, you split up the year into 4 quarters, and October, November, December is what makes up the fourth quarter. So October 1, start of Q4. And it's at Q4 where a couple of different things happen. One, you start preparing for your yearly reviews, right? 2, this is when the managing directors come around, your project managers come around. Hey, how's that project looking? We can deliver that on time? Because most people tend to schedule themselves for Q4 deliveries, right? So Q4 is also like, hey, how's that November delivery looking, right? So you should be in the later stages of your deployments, of your development at times like this, right? You're also going to be preparing maybe a little bit for planning for next year, right? This is also when some budget discussions are, in some cases, already taking place, but certainly in their later stages, right? So this is when you want to already be having some of those discussions around, well, what resources are we going to need next year? In some cases, in other cases, as you go into the yearly review process for yourself, some companies encourage you to do peer reviews, where you invite other people to give a review on you. So this is when you are sending out those peer review requests, right? Or, sometimes they're referred to as 360-degree reviews. So maybe this is when you're going to be sending out those requests and saying, hey, how are you? We worked together on these 2 projects. Do you mind if I send you a peer review request? Can you please, give me some feedback? You might do that during this period. Or you might start doing some of your, finishing up some of your training hours, right? Some people have required training hours. So maybe you want to finish up your training hours during this period, right? So a lot of things kind of come to a head in Q4, right? Some conversations, some final planning, some final testing. So all of these things are kind of special to Q4. You're also going to have to deal, later in the quarter, if people take time during, Thanksgiving here in the U.S. and in Canada, or the Christmas holidays and in the Christian cultures, you have to deal with people's schedules too, right? So Q4, is I'm kind of saying this because there's a lot more to October 1st than just it's the beginning of October, right? From a business perspective, it does kind of kick off a couple of different things that people are going to start to look at. And there, you know, special preparations, if you will, that you're going to need for Q4. So that's the opening note. I hope that resonates with you. And I think the more that you actually spend time in a full-time business position, the more those things will kind of come to light for you. All right. So I'm already seeing my chat fill up, which is great. So again, if you're joining us late, please let us know your city, state, province, country. Great way to introduce yourself. Great way to display your professionalism, right? So let me start from the top. Casual Economist, our good friend from Minneapolis. How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Let us know what you're up to lately, Casual Economist. Hope you're doing well. Boo, spooky season is officially here. You know what's funny? Well, two things you remind me of, Casual Economist. One, I always like to say, you know, when it comes to this time of year, let the pumpkin spice fly. Because so many people, I don't know how it is around the world. You know, guys, let me know in the comments. Is pumpkin spice a thing around the world? Because here in the US, I think in Canada also, people are obsessed with pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice pie, coffee, desserts, cheesecake, muffins, everything is pumpkin spice, right? And this is when the pumpkin spice is everywhere. So let me know, guys, is that a thing all over the world? Like, do people like pumpkin spice? But yeah, Casual Economist. And the second thing you also remind me of is the, you know how there's always like the people on TikTok that are chasing trends? Like, there's some people that were already decorating their houses for Halloween early on TikTok just to get the likes or whatever, right? But there were definitely people who were, kind of trying to get ahead of that because yeah, Halloween is a huge holiday out here in the U.S. But good to see you, Casual Economist. Let us know what you're up to. Michael, our good friend from Lagos, says Happy New Month, Sir Dennis and everyone. Happy New Month to you too, Michael. Good to see you. Rex, our good friend Rex, says good morning everyone from New York City, wishing you all a great day. Rex, what a great greeting. I love your positive greeting. So we should all have a great day. Thanks a lot, Rex. Taj, let us know where you're from, okay? Osama, you're our first person from Morocco today, so I hope you're doing well out there, Osama. I'm glad to see you. Michael says it's Independence Day here in Nigeria, so it's October. Okay, cool. Is that independence from France or? Let me know. I unfortunately I'm ignorant to the history of Nigeria. I apologize for that. But let me know. And is that what it's actually called? October? That's kind of cool. I like that name. I can get behind that name. Leo, our good friend Leo, says good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too, Leo. Hope you're doing well out there in New York City, or in Little Morocco, as Leo claims to live in. Elvis says hello, Elvis from Nairobi, Kenya. Nice, welcome, Elvis. Glad to see you here. Elvis, I'm tempted to say this is your first time here. I don't think I've seen you before. If so, welcome and glad to see you. Fatima, our friend in meekness, says, hey, sir. Hey, Fatima, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Katul says, top of the morning. Katul, let us know where you're from. Is this your first time? I can't remember if it's your first time. Let us know where you're from, Katul. Natasha from Arizona and gearing up for conferences and expositions. Oh, very cool. What kind of conferences? What kind of expos? Also, for those of you that don't know, in the US, there are some parts that have still been experiencing quite a bit of heat. Arizona is one of them. They've been breaking all kinds of records for heat this late in the summer. Or rather in the fall, right? Their previous high for September weather was 108 degrees. And I think they hit like 118 degrees this September. So completely obliterated the previous records. Just like blew away the previous records. So really incredible heat happening in places like Arizona out here in the US. So Natasha, hope that you're keeping cool out there. Let us know what conferences and exposition. That sounds interesting. But welcome, Natasha. Glad you're here. Michael says, from brutal Britain, we were an English colony. Oh, excuse me. That's right. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, Nigeria was a British colony, not French. Excuse me. Okay, well, so independence from Britain, October. Okay, cool. I can get behind that. Well, good for you, Michael. Hope you guys have good celebrations out there. Katul says, nope, I'm a late joiner from Bloomington. Okay, cool. Which Bloomington? There's a couple of Bloomingtons, right? I think there's an Indiana, Minneapolis. I think there's a Bloomington, Minnesota, rather. Which Bloomington, Katul? Satyam says, Namaste, Dennis from India. Satyam, always good to see you, my friend, and thank you for the good greetings. Okay, Katul, I remember now. You go to the university there, right? Because I remember asking you about the university. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a big university in Bloomington, Indiana. Okay, cool. So welcome back, Katul. So again, if you're joining us late, let us know your city, state, province, country. Love to hear from you. But otherwise, guys, I'm here for your questions. I love being spontaneous on these things. Sometimes we have a lot of questions. Sometimes we have a little questions. Sometimes we have good questions. Sometimes we have repeat questions. And that's okay, right? So let me know if there's anything that I can help you with. Any questions that are out there, I'm here for you. And I will do my best that I can, okay? So Leo asks, starting with a light question, how to overcome imposter syndrome episodes. I don't know, Leo, is that a light question? That can be a complex one. Rahul says, hey, hello, sir. Hey, Rahul, how are you? I'm pretty sure it's not your first time, so welcome back. Bisma, our friend from Pakistan. Hello, I hope you're doing good. Excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat there. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing great, Bisma. Hope the same for you and your family. Hope that you're doing well out there in Pakistan. All right, guys. So coming back to Leo's question, how to overcome imposter syndrome episodes. So this is a section, a small section in my book. If you guys want to support me, your first year in data science, I do have a section in there. The reason I decided to put a section in there is because I have been surprised by how many people approach me with that question, particularly young people. So I've worked at a lot of large companies. And when you do that, they usually have some sort of mentorship program. And they will pair up the old guys like me, right? Because I'm ancient, I'm old. And, they'll assign you somebody who's new, just started, or a younger person, whatever the case may be. And you'll do a mentorship. And I've done a lot of these. And then I've also had summer interns, and you're kind of a mentor to them, right? Because you're really not with them very long and all that, right? I've been surprised by how many people ask me about imposter syndrome. It is so common. It's almost like borderline shocking. Like, when did all of this happen, right? So two caveats. One, I'm not a psychologist, right? I would never discourage someone from getting professional mental health help if they need it, right? Because, I'm just giving my view, just my life experience, but I'm not a professional psychologist. And two, I have to admit that sometimes it's hard for me to relate to this a little bit, because I've always been somebody who's been a fairly confident person. I've never really backed down from a challenge because of my confidence or because of my appearance, because of my weight or other things, right? Or because of my race, my ethnicity, or, you know, things that might hold other people back. That's just never been a thing for me, you know? Like, you know, like I've always been, you know, I've had, you know, various periods in my life and all the various fluctuations, but like I've always been like a fat guy, right? And but that's never held me back. Like I've always felt confident, right? Like that's never held me back from like applying for a job or doing something or asking the girl out or things like that, right? So it's really kind of hard for me to sometimes relate to it. But I will tell you this, that obviously there are times when I have thought, okay, you know, maybe I'm overreaching on this job or on this project or pitching this client or, but one of the things that has helped me is a long time ago, I read about the psychology behind sports, particularly around like triathletes. You know, for those of you that don't know, triathlon is you know, swim, biking, and running. You know, I've always been fascinated by that sport. I think it's awesome, right? But really could apply to any sport, right? And I remember that one of the greats in that sport was talking about the psychology that they used. And he talked about how whenever he's at the starting line, whenever, you know, the race is about to start and you start feeling those feelings of, you know, the imposter syndrome, the self-confidence and all that, you think to yourself, wait a minute, all of those hours that I spent on the bike, all of those miles that I put running, all of those times I got up early to go to the pool or to swim or whatever. All of that time, all of those hours, if I could turn them into a person, that person would be standing with me right here next to me. Those three people, the biking, the running, the swimming that I did, they would be standing here right next to me, supporting me, right? So that's the way professional athletes think about it. They encapsulate all the work they've done, and they say those hours, I am not alone here at the starting line. Those hours are standing right next to me. Those hours are supporting me right now. So that's the way that I think about it. When I'm pitching a client, when I'm, you know, pitching a new project or even like, you know, maybe like when I have some downtime, I'm in between contracts and I'm looking for my next contract and I don't know if I'm going to make it, right? Like all that work you've done, all that effort you've put in, it's standing right next to you. It's sitting right next to you, pushing you, right? Like everything you've done in the past means something. If you could personify it, it would be a person that's rooting you on. So that's what I use, right? I use those thoughts to say, all right, so maybe, you know, it's going to be tough. Maybe, you know, it's going to be a tough client or a tough pitch or you know, whatever the case may be. But I know that I've put in good work in the past. I know that I have solid skills that I developed over time. And all of that is standing with me. All of that is right behind me. So Leo, that's the best advice that I can give you because that's how I've worked with it in the past, where I can say, okay, yeah, you know, this is you know, it's gonna be tough. You know, maybe I'm just overreaching just a little bit here, but I can do it. I can do it because of the work that's directly behind me, of the work that is supporting me right here, right now. So Leo, I hope that helps you. You know, feel free to send me a direct message. You know, Leo, you know where to reach me. But that's the best help I can give to anyone who, you know, is dealing with feelings of imposter syndrome. Rahul says, Leo, you can't. Doubting yourself is good. Rahul, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the first things you should say, right? That, hey, you know what? I may be doubting myself, but that's a perfectly natural human emotion, right? It's perfectly human for us to doubt ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, Rahul, I agree with you, okay? Let me see if there's anything else on this same topic. Okay. Okay, so Satyam asks, do using libraries make your code run slower than a custom written module? It depends. There's no single answer to that, my friend. It depends on the situation. And remember, speed is not always the consideration. It's also the quality and the accuracy of the code, right? So there is no single answer to your question. And like I said, realize that it's a lot more than that. You know, again, you guys know that I poo-poo the people who talk about the math and they're writing their own math modules. So not only is that stupid, but it's also risky, right? I mean, you know, one of the untold benefits that people don't really realize. But you know, another reason why we use libraries? Another reason we use libraries is because they've been vetted, right? People all over the world use them. If there was a mistake in the libraries, it would be self-evident. Who's going to find the mistake in your custom written module? Dangerous, right? And I'm not talking about like the massive mistakes. The massive mistakes you'll find and you'll correct. I'm talking about those tiny little errors. Those little transpositions you made in formulas or in your approach. The kind of errors you find 5 years later, and then what? You got to go to your managing director and say, we're going to have to restate all of our results for the last 5 years because we found an error in our module. And they're going to tell you, what are you, an idiot? Why didn't you use a library? Right? So don't fall in love with the speed, right? It's also about the accuracy and the quality of the code. So be very careful with that. The question is not, should we do it because of speed? The question is, should we do it because what's the safe play? What's the professional play, right? So yeah, be careful with that. Libraries are out there and they're popular because they're vetted, because they're widely used. It's kind of in a weird way. It's like it's gone through peer review, right? Peer review is an important part of the scientific process. Like, are you comfortable saying that that pandas works and there's very low probability of errors in pandas? Yeah. Why? Because the entire world uses pandas, right? Or scikit-learn, right? Why would you want to rewrite anything in scikit-learn if the formula is A, likely to already be in there, and 2, has basically been vetted by the entire world? Who cares about the speed? I want something that's vetted and low probability of failure. So keep that in mind, because again, that's another reason why I poo-poo the idiots who talk about the math and writing your own code. They don't realize the danger that they're too dumb to realize the danger that they're playing with, right? So be careful with that. But yeah, but it's not speed. It's about the vetting and the quality. Yeah. And also, I mean, some of them are just plain better written than what you could as a custom module, right? Like, if you guys ever want to look it up, I'll find it and I'll put it in the Discord. But there is a fantastic video out there that talks about, I think it's a new way to find square root values that was used in the Quake 3 engine. that most people never even realized. This was done by the guys at the ID Labs, who put out Quake, and they put out like this completely groundbreaking way to find the square root of numbers. Really fascinating video. But they showed how the way they did it was so innovative and so superior to what the average coder would do that, you're dumb to use anything else, right? Even though it's a simple formula, right? Finding the square root is not a complex thing, right? But some of the library code is just plain better than you, right? So yeah, keep that in mind, Satyam. It's not just about speed; it's about the quality and the vetted value. Okay. Is it Shenza? No, Shenna? Shenna from Kashmir, India. Wonderful to be here. Welcome, Shenna. Glad to have you here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well out there in Kashmir. Thank you so much for the introduction and glad to have you. Sam, hello, Dennis from Mexico. Sam, so good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Any other? Rex, thank you so much for doing your hosting duties. Curiosity Coder, welcome. Always good to see people on Twitch. Make sure you click on the subscribe. I'm approaching 100 users on Twitch, so glad to see Twitch growing more and more. Satyam says, it was asked by my senior, is it just to increase my workload because he hates me, or is he right? So Satyam, you're saying that your senior asked you to use custom code instead of the libraries? Or Satyam, let us know which direction your senior asked you to go. So here's the thing, Satyam. I've spoken about this and I've done content on this before. Our workloads as data scientists will absolutely increase. They will increase because project managers, managing directors, everybody will realize how much faster ChatGPT will make those coding tasks, right? Because we have to accept that right now coding tasks are trivial, right? Anything you want to code, you can get done via ChatGPT, period. And we've seen that in the classes that I've done, right? So in turn, the timelines that you are given for projects will compress. I haven't come up with a final number, but I think it's going to be at least 50%. Right? When you were given 4 weeks to do something, now you're only going to be given 2 weeks to do something. I see that coming. I see that coming in the next 2 years. Right? So don't think of this. Are they going to increase your workload? Yes, but it won't be about libraries or it won't be about libraries versus custom modules. It'll be around AI. But I don't think that you would feel that as much because you, the individual data scientist, Satyam, you also have an employee now, right? Your employee is ChatGPT. So you shouldn't feel that heavy of a workload. It'll just be faster. The project cycles, lifetimes will be faster. So I think all of us are going to see an increased workload in that way. But we have a new employee. All of us are enabled with a new employee, right? So that's why I put such an emphasis on AI in the stuff that I teach you guys. Because I guarantee you that'll be done in the future. It doesn't matter where your company's at now or what their policy on LLMs is or anything else. The speed benefits will be undeniable, right? Like you would have to be the world's dumbest manager to say, no, we're not going to use AI. Like the speed, the value of the speed is undeniable. So start preparing for that side, Satyam, rather than saying, oh, okay, well, let me go and start cranking out these custom modules. That's a waste of time, right? So let me know what you think about that, Satyam. It also sounds like you have a specific situation happening with your manager. So feel free to post it in the comments. But I mean, yeah, the workloads will increase, but you won't feel it. You won't feel it nearly as much as something like this, right? Because really, if your manager is saying, you know, let's not use libraries, then your manager's a moron. I mean, that's really the bottom line on that one. Michael asks, what is the relationship between actuarial science and data science? I've been seeing a lot of actuarial science lately. Okay. You know what, guys? That's a great question for the chat. All right, chat. Let's help Michael here. Somebody give me an elevator pitch on actuarial science and data science. Are they related? Are they not related? Why is Michael seeing a lot of that mention of actuarial science versus data science? Are there reasons for that? Let me know in the chat, guys. Give me an elevator pitch. Do you not know? Right? You could say, hey, I don't know. That's a fair answer. That's okay. No one's going to call on you. What do you guys think? Give me your elevator pitch. What's your elevator pitch? Actuarial science and data science. Related, not related, why not? Let me know. Leo says, thank you, Dennis. Really helpful. I hope so, Leo. You know, like I said, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just giving you my view, you know, but I empathize with you because I do hear that question a lot from a lot of young people. I don't know why, you know, I wish I was a psychologist so I could study that, but it's a very common question now. Very common. Along those same lines, Katul says you can channel that anxiety as your desire to learn more. Yeah. I agree with that, Katul. And I write that in my book. You know, to me, my biggest help for imposter syndrome is confidence, right? You know, the more prepared you are in a situation, any situation, I think the less you're dropping your probability of feeling imposter syndrome, right? So why not try to be as prepared as you can? Right? It's like an inverse relationship, right? So I want my preparation level to go as high as possible so that my probability of imposter syndrome is as low as possible, right? So yeah, Gatul, I agree with that. All right, guys. So again, the question in front of the chat is data science and actuarial science. Related, not related, why not? I don't know is a valid answer. So let me know. So Shenna says, question, is the role of data scientists under threat due to the rise of AI? What will be your advice to a person who is thinking of choosing data science as a career? Appreciate it. So Shenna, my advice is to come on Sundays. On Sundays, I run tutorial classes that are, you know, completely free. They're right here on YouTube. And it is basically showing you how to use AI as a data scientist. We do data science projects, but we don't write any code ourselves. We use AI to write the code. So to your question, is role of data scientists under threat? No, it's not under threat. It's changing, right? It just means that you'll have to be better prepared in the future with more AI skills, more AI prompting skills. That's all it means. right? And so is data scientist going to go away? No, absolutely not. It will change. It'll have a different purpose, but no. Now, I think that right now is a good time to start preparing, right? Right now is a good time to start saying, hey, I'm going to work with ChatGPT every single day and see what I can get out of it, right? I think that's a very, very healthy thing to be doing right now. But I don't think that it's going to be anything that's going to disappear. Absolutely not. But you should start preparing now. Okay? Start coming on Sundays. Sundays 1500 GMT, or you can go to my YouTube today and see some of my archived classes. But you can see that, we don't write any code. It's all ChatGPT. And we've done some amazing things with really just 10 minutes worth of prompting ChatGPT. It'll get us to some pretty good code. Like if you want to see this past Sundays, we did PyTorch and Keras. We wrote 2 neural networks in half an hour, 40 minutes. Well, actually, we got to the base networks in less than that, 15 minutes. And then we were doing some tuning and, playing around. But you can get to 2 base neural networks and 2 completely different frameworks in 15 minutes? That's amazing, right? But you got to get used to that now. Right? All right, guys. So the question in front of the chat right now is data science, actuarial science. It was asked by our friend Michael. And let us know. Give me the elevator pitch. Are they related? Not related? You don't know? You're curious? Let me know. So Leo's going to kick us off. I think actuarial science is used more for quantitative insights and not focused on building ML models. Okay. Fatima says they are related as both involve analyzing and interpreting data to make predictions and decisions. All right, Fatima. I like the conciseness of your explanation. Osama says related. We can build ML algorithms to assess risk and insurance. All right, Osama. I really like that explanation also. Michael says, I think actuarial science is tailored more for the financial world. Both AS and DS use data to get insights and predictions, I guess. Yep. Manoj says related. Okay. Manoj, do you want to give us a rationale or not? That's okay. Shenna says, thanks a lot. We'll look forward to it. Cool. Yeah, Shenna, look forward to having you. And let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I have a feeling maybe I'm not correct on that. But yeah, Shenna, start preparing now. Start using ChatGPT. Start writing code with ChatGPT. That will be the future of a data scientist. All right, guys. So what do you think? You can also just say, hey, I agree with Leo. I agree with Fatima. What do you guys think? But I'm seeing some really good answers. Everybody gave a great answer. What do you guys think? Actuarial science, data science? Great question, by the way. Who asked that again? Was it Michael? Yeah, Michael, great question. But last call for answers, guys, and then we can talk about this a little further. I'm not an actuarial science expert. I know enough to be dangerous. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give my view, but I'm seeing some totally reasonable answers in here. Leo says, yeah, great question. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this one up. This is a fun question. Last call. Okay, so Manoj is adding some rationale. Said it used in finance insurance to make out risk management. Okay. Leo says, I know enough to be dangerous. I do, I mean, I know a little, right? But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I'm an expert. And you guys know I don't lie to you like that. I stay in my lane. I speak on things that I know about. But yeah, just enough to be dangerous. I don't know if that's a saying around the world, but we say that here in the US. All right, guys. So I'm seeing a lot of things are catching my eye. Leo says it's quantitative insights. I'm on board with that. Fatima says interpreting data to make predictions and decisions. I'm on board with that. Osama says it's using ML algorithms to assess risk in insurance. I'm 100% on board with that. I think that's a great answer. Michael says both use data to get insights and predictions. Yeah. Manoj said use in finance and insurance to make out risk management. Yeah. I think all of those have very all those pieces of those answers have merit to them, right? So here's the way I think about it. When you hear actuarial science, you might also hear about actuarial tables, right? That's a common term, and maybe that's kind of a little bit out of fashion now because there's programs now that just kind of spit out an answer. But kind of like in the old school, there used to be like what are known as actuarial tables. And I agree with Osama that when I think about it, I usually think about it like in the insurance industry, right? Because in the insurance industry, actuarial tables are very important. Because how do you give somebody a price for an insurance policy if you don't have some quantitative numbers behind it, right? Don't you kind of need numbers, basically probabilities, in order to be able to say, okay, here's like your break-even price for this insurance policy, right? So a lot of you mentioned that, right? You mentioned financial uses, insurance uses. That's where you see a lot of that actuarial science being used, right? So Santosh says, calculating the cost of risk. Yeah, right. That's basically what you're doing. I mean, and one of the primary inputs to that is a probability, right? Because if you have a probability, then you can kind of turn it into an expected value formula. If I'm simplifying it, right, your expected value is basically your break-even price. So as an insurance company, you want to be above that price. That's how you make money, so on and so forth, right? So that's how I think about it in terms of, well, why does actuarial science exist? Well, because you have a lot of insurance scenarios, right? Life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, right? Like all of those need some sort of probabilities and risks assigned to them, right? Okay. So let's talk about life insurance, right? So so for those of you who don't know, life insurance sometimes has terms added to it, right? Like term, and you'll hear the name term life insurance. And what that means is they'll assign a number of years to that insurance policy. So you can get like a 10-year term life insurance policy. So if you die in the next 10 years and only the next 10 years, that insurance policy pays out. That's a product, right? That's an insurance company product that's offered. But many people can apply for that product. You could have a 40-year-old person apply for that product. You could have a 70-year-old person apply for that product, right? So what are the prices you should assign to those? What is the likelihood of a 70-year-old person dying in the next 10 years? What is the probability of a 40-year-old person dying in the next 10 years? Who knows, right? Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Harsh from India. Welcome, Harsh. Good to see you. I think it's your first time. Glad to see you here. Hi, I'm Adnane from Norway. Norway, welcome. Welcome. I don't think we get a lot of people from Norway, so welcome, Adnane. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Always nice to see people from Western Europe. My numbers are growing in Western Europe, so thank you for being here. Okay, so again, how do you price that out, right? A 40-year-old dying in the next 10 years, a 70-year-old dying in the next 10 years. It's easy to say, well, the 70-year-old is going to die, right? Well, what if the 70-year-old is a non-smoker who also eats fruits and vegetables every day and lives a stress-free life? And what if the 40-year-old has 4 kids, a very high mortgage on their house, he smokes, and he's 30 pounds overweight? Right? What if the 70-year-old has low blood pressure and has never had any serious medical incidents? The 40-year-old has high blood pressure, doesn't go to the doctor, and doesn't exercise. What then, right? So like wait a minute, hold on a second. High blood pressure, smoker, not smoker, medical incidents, no medical incidents, diet or weight factors. Wait a minute. Don't all those sound like features? Damn, those sound like features to me. Don't those sound like great features for a model? I think they do. Right? I think those are great features for a model. And you have historical data. You can go look up death certificates, right? Or you have historical data from your past clients. Or you buy the historical data from your competitors, right? Like that sounds like a model, right? So that's really all it is. So to me, actuarial tables, when you hear about that, is the result of those models, right? Like they used to be like these big, broad models, right? That you would literally look up and say, okay, here's the person's age, they were a non-smoker, and this, and okay, the price for that insurance policy is X, right? So, I mean, that's basically what these actuarial tables used to be. Yeah, Michael, I saw your comment earlier. I see them use Excel and SPSS. Yeah, because they used to be these big outputs, basically, right? Because think about it, right? That table is just an output from a model. So how that table comes together, or what that table is made up of, is really just the repeated outputs of some models. That's all it is, right? So actuarial science is how those models come together. What features should you be including in there? Should it be a regression model? Should it be a neural network? Whatever the case may be. So that's really kind of what it is. That's all it is, right? So it's modeling, it's features, it's data, and actuarial science, or the actuarial tables, is just the output of all of those models. Now, they're complex models, right? Because I remember I also said there's a time element to them, right? When it comes to health insurance, there could be like any number of features, right? I mean, you can go crazy with the number of features, right? But that's okay because we have neural networks nowadays, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's really all it is. That's really all it is. All right. So let me know What you guys think? Okay. Satyam says, I already worked on a similar project. Yeah, Satyam. Yeah. Because that's really that's really what I'm saying without saying it, right? That the difference between data science and actuarial science is very, very small, right? Very, very related practices. Right? Well, yes, that does not surprise you if you can sit there and say, well, wait, I worked on something like that. Okay, yeah. That's totally reasonable. Hello, everyone. I've joined some live sessions before, but this is my first time interacting here. I'm from Colombia and trying to learn as much as I can from these live sessions. Camilo, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, I have some people that watch and don't participate, and that's okay. But glad that you introduced yourself today. Thank you so much. I've been to Colombia, beautiful country, great people, great food. But yeah, welcome. Keep coming back, and hopefully, maybe we'll be able to show you a couple things. Who knows? But thanks for being here. Leo says, wait a minute, they sound like features to me. Yeah, Leo, right? After a while, it's like, well, wait a minute, that's a model. Like, why are we not modeling this? Well, they are modeling it. That's what actuarial science is. Okay? Santosh says, based on probability of dying earlier than a normal life. No, not always, Santosh. It's usually about the years, right? Most insurance products are given like a term of years. So it's not about dying, it's about dying in the next 10 years, right? Adlan says, hello, I am from Algeria. Welcome, Adlan. Glad to see you here. I think it's your first time, so welcome. Adnane says, yes, thank you. Okay, welcome, Adnane. Glad to see my viewership in Norway growing. In Algeria, always good to see my Northern African followers. I'm huge in Northern Africa, guys. For some reason, they love me in North Africa. But thanks for being here. But that's really what actuarial science is, guys. It's very, very closely related to data science. You could say that it's data science specifically for the insurance and financial industry. Perhaps more so in insurance. But, that's still saying a lot, right? Because there's a lot of insurance products out there. But it's just finding the features that relate to that product and going from there. Right? If you guys want to have think about this in a little bit of a different way, or a little bit of a funny way that I see, or that I've seen, is if you look up Nassim Taleb's books, and you should be familiar with all of his books, he talks about insurance in actuarial science in Fooled by Randomness. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the Italians were some of the ones who were early creators of life insurance during the Renaissance period, during the Italian Renaissance period. And their models, right? Because they also, figured that they need modeling and all that, right? And their models showed. So in their models, they were always looking at life expectancy, right? What is your life expectancy? And then we'll price you out from there. And their model showed that a 15-year-old in the Roman Empire, or in the Roman Renaissance period, had the same life expectancy as a 50-year-old in the Italian Renaissance. Because a 15-year-old, was likely to go to battles, or likely to, go hunting, or do other things in life that would probably kill them before they were 25 years old. Whereas the 40-year-old would probably die from other natural causes, right? Because, this is still the Renaissance period, so people didn't live as long as they do today, right? But that's the way they also looked at it. They said, well, we should be charging both of those people the same, because a 15-year-old is likely to die in 10 years just as much as a 40-year-old is likely to die in the next 10 years. I might have the ages wrong if it's been a while since I read that book, but the Italians caught on to this as far as saying, well, there's a lot of factors here, right? And if all we care about is the next, we, the insurance company, if all we care about is the next 10 years, then the price is the same for both of these folks because they're going to die anyways, just different causes, but we kind of don't care how they die. We just care about the next 10 years, right? So I thought that was a really interesting passage in that book that, if you guys want to look up, was really interesting. But just so you guys know, the Italians were some of the early like not creators, but they were the first ones to kind of realize all this and kind of put that all together and say, well, wait a minute, all we care about is the next 10 years. So we just need a model for the next 10 years. So what's going to happen at these two ages for, these two age groups in 10 years? So anyways, if you guys want to look that up, that's I'm pretty sure that's in Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. Taj, you're welcome. Taj says they're from Juba, South Sudan. Nice. Very cool. Welcome, Taj. I think it's your first day. But thank you for joining us. All right, guys. So again, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. But Michael, really great question on the actuarial science. I hope you guys enjoyed that discussion because, it's a unique question. And Michael, I think it's a pretty good indication of how you're progressing in your learning, because if you are getting to those stages where you're learning more about actuarial science and whatnot, good for you. That's a really good measure of progress. So good for you. All right. Any other questions, guys? Anything else I can help you guys with? Really good discussion today, guys. This is what I love about doing this, You never know what's going to pop up. Never know what's going to happen. Never know what the conversation holds. And I like that, I like that. And I also like it because if I'm just doing videos and recording them and sending out to you guys, that's a one-way conversation, right? That's just me pushing out information to you guys. But I enjoy the back and forth, right? And it also gives you guys an opportunity to ask questions back and get clarification. So I really, really enjoy that aspect of it. After this, I'm going to record some answers to some comments that I got on Instagram. On Instagram, I usually post a story that says, "Hey, if you have a question, I'll give you a video reply." So I got to follow up on some of that today, and go from there. See what the rest of my day holds. Maybe go take my dog to the dog park. But I want to thank you guys. It's been a great session. Always fun to spend time with you. I'm always grateful that all of us get to do this together. Really grateful for all of my consistent supporters who are with me just about every day. So thank you so much for that. And a big welcome to the new people that have joined today. Norway, Algeria, South Sudan, couple of other new folks from India. So really glad to have all of you here. I stream every day at 1500 GMT, so really keep on coming back and hopefully you'll keep on learning. So appreciate all of you. We're living in difficult times for the world, so I really hope that all of you stay safe. Please protect yourselves, please protect your families, and I'll see you next time.